before I proceed with all the yapping, chances are you just want an answer. You just want the conclusion where I sit here and say what I personally believe are the best investments for the week. Well, if you could just scroll down, take a look in the description of this video. At the very bottom, you'll see the conclusion chapter. So just skip ahead to that. You'll get a quick 5-minute rundown of what I personally believe is the best investments. That might be to your benefit. But to all those people out there who happen to enjoy all the yapping, well, sit back and relax. Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're doing alright, because it's time for the predictions video. So, today's store, I don't really have any complaints. One deplorable for the week, though. Haven't seen that in a while. We did get some interesting clothing and armour. We've got quite a lot of weapons and tool skins, so alright, cool, not going to complain. And I should point out 2 pump shotguns. With it being the focused item of the month, we have seen a trend where at least 1 week of the month we'll probably have 2 of the brand new Skinnable getting 2 skins, and then 2 of the focused item of the month getting 2 skins. Next week, or the week after this, we might potentially have 2 electric furnaces being accepted. Keep an eye on the Rust Workshop. Ooh, so alright, cool. Some interesting looking skins have been submitted, and today, I'm not upset. But to be truthful with you, I'm not really sure what's going to really stand out today. I'm not sure if I'll be buying any skins this week directly from the Rust store. Again, sales would make things interesting. And I am noticing some things in regards to that where it could potentially benefit with a lack of sales. So, alright, cool. Should I now go through all the skins and just quickly point out only 2 of them this week are not abnormal. As you might notice over to here, it literally tells you Oil King Pump Shotgun, Primal Salvaged Axe, both of them are not abnormal. If I could quickly hop out and showcase to you on Rust Help, you'll see it with your own eyes. There's an abnormal tag being listed here, and these 2 skins, they don't have it. So take that into consideration. We do have quite a lot to chase after next Wednesday night. So, alright, understood, all good. Now, let me also just quickly address, well, you've seen this, haven't you? The brand new Steam market, the beta version of it at the very least. I have to warn you, okay? When you do a buy order, if you don't use the dot, the decimal point, unfortunately, if you use comma, it won't recognize the comma. Please be careful. We found this out last night when we did the abnormal barders. So, of course, with the previous week's skins, we sat down, we tried to figure out could those skins probably work out nicely in the future. Notably, we had the neon electric furnace. There's just far too many problems with the neon electric furnace, notably the fact that it did over 50,000 subscribers. A little bit too much. So, yeah, it was pretty obvious that things probably weren't going to work out very nicely for it, unless we saw the cyan blue neon electric furnace being accepted. It didn't happen today, so I might show that off in a second. Anyway, when we did the barders last night, someone from Europe that was watching me, well, he used a comma when he did a barter. He wanted to offer 90 euro, so 0.9, understood? It didn't recognise the comma. In Europe, they use comma instead of decimal point, and, well, he accidentally spent €9 a piece. That's more than $10. More than $10 in skins that really weren't worth it, so, So, yes, especially if you're European, if you're to go ahead and engage your skin with this page, do be warned, make sure you use the dot, not the comma, the dot, the decimal point. I'm sure as time goes on that'll be fixed eventually, but if you don't know how to exit, I mean, look, just here, look, exit market beta. Now, it will send you over to here, which is annoying. You've got to go back and then press refresh, and then there you go. Now back to normal. And of course, you might notice your extensions don't work with the newer version. It does here when you're out of the beta. So, yeah, just giving you a heads up. You probably want to stick with doing barders here. You probably want to avoid the beta. And even when you're here as well, exit market beta right there. Click that. It will send you back to here again. You got to go backspace. You got to refresh. Boom. So, just want to make sure you're fully well aware. Honestly, it only really benefits Valve games. Considering we have like very precise and specific skins in Counter-Strike, grades, wear, float. We don't have this with Rust skins, do we? All Rust skins are essentially commodities. They're all the same. So, it doesn't matter. But it does matter if you want to do a barter. And again, if you want to go back into the beta, you click the button there, and, well, boom, there you go. So you're now aware of this. Be warned, especially if you're doing abnormal barders. Right then, so back over to here. I can confirm to you it was a very, very early rust rotations day. Took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be like normal. 8 p.m. London time, UK time. That's usually when it happens. It happened 5 hours earlier. So you might notice I'm not waiting until the next day to record the predictions video. To be honest, based on what I'm looking at right now, I've got enough information to kind of figure out what might be happening. And again, consider watching the 48-hour analysis as well. 2 days in, we've got an even better idea of how things are likely to pan out, especially like figuring out how much they might sell by, Thursday. So, all right, cool, understood. Again, I'm not feeling super confident that something here is clear as day going to work out amazingly as an investment. But I'll go through all the skins. I'll offer you my opinions, my thoughts, my worries, my deepest, darkest fears. But yeah, you get the idea. I'm going to explain what I'm thinking, and hopefully you understand. You can offer your own opinion based on what I say. You can comment below. Let's go through all the skins now and figure out what might be happening. Pirate Electric Furnace. Let me tell you, I have seen an electric furnace that will be coming out this weekend on the Rust Workshop. And it is very colourful. It is very bright. You probably know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure if that would be accepted, but compared to every other electric furnace I've seen so far, it kind of wouldn't surprise me if it gets accepted, simply because it's just I'll give you a hint. I'll play Jamiroquai with it in a short video. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about then. I've already planned it out. Anyway, there will be more electric furnaces. This is what we said when we looked at the neon electric furnace last week. Or rather, last night. Oh boy. This did over 55,000 subscribers. This already has listings just about 20 cents higher than what it sold for in the Rust store. Yes, it does have quite a lot of buy orders. It doesn't have big, fat, strong buy orders. That is very, very thin. We had one potential positive thing that could have helped this if we saw the blue one being accepted. Didn't happen. Didn't happen yet. It might appear next week. It might appear the week after. We'll see. Anyway, the issue is brand new Skinnable. It's sold far too much. So, as time goes on, as more and more and more options appear, unfortunately, it's going to cause issues for this. And of course, the same would apply for this right here. Pirate Electric Furnace, after about, here we go, 10 hours? Yeah, 10 hours since the Rust rotated. It hasn't sold absurdly, but it's still selling a lot. Like, if I was to give you a very, very, very rough estimate, I wouldn't be surprised if that does between 30 to 40,000 subscribers. Now, with all due respect, have you seen the Pirate Collection? Have you noticed some of the sales we saw here? Pirate Collection's in demand. It's not perfectly fine. Not everything there is perfectly in the green, but a lot of skins here have sold pretty highly and still worked out quite alright. But then again, when it comes to clothing and armour, it's a bit different. Plus, blackout alternative option. It was the cheapest option available. So if I was to specifically talk about the deplorables, with all due respect, that sheet in the door, $7. This garage door, $5.50. And this furnace, which I might have made a mistake in when I mentioned this in my Rust rotation video earlier, $2.32. Comfortably in the positive there. But let me also point out, 9,700 subscribers, 12,000 subscribers, 15,000 subscribers. Wow, you're $9. Wow. 9,700 subscribers. All of these sold like very reasonable amounts. And they weren't instantly a success. It took a good year or so to them finally work out nicely. In fact, the anticipation of the Naval update is what gave them a big boost. People looking for aquatic boat theme skins, they were looking for pirate theme skins. So that definitely benefited with the Naval update. You might notice the large box here. It's better, but it's still down in price. I will give it this. Last night we had a revelation. I said, if people like it, it'll probably still work out quite nicely. What a groundbreaking thing to say. But no, seriously, look at Ghost Furnace. Do you remember Halloween 2025? Yep. Do you remember where you are? All right, yep. That sold an absolutely absurd amount. Over 70,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's actually in the positive. What? Yeah. Because people like it. It sold an absolute ridiculous amount. There's a lot of it listed on third-party sites, and it's actually doing a pretty decent job retaining its value. Because people like it. And people want to use it. So, even though I sat here and said this is going to probably do between 30 to 40,000 subscribers, maybe it slows down. Maybe it only reaches around 30,000 subscribers. You know what? With the collection being in demand, with people liking it, maybe as time goes on, this still works out quite nicely. But at least in the short term, with a lot more electric furnaces on the way, with a lot more skins on the horizon, with some very flashy looking designs on the horizon, it wouldn't surprise me if it kind of doesn't really budge that much, doesn't really change that much. If anything, if we keep seeing more and more and more and more and more Twitch drops, kick drops, you name it, yeah, there will be problems. But at least in the long term, I wouldn't be surprised that it slowly starts to pick itself up and eventually ends up in the positive. But that might take a year, 2 years, maybe even 3. So as long as this collection remains fairly in demand, I think that could still work out quite all right. But you might be better off waiting for a while, maybe another month or 2, look at the price again. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still down below its roster price. Maybe you might be better off jumping in then, because it is selling quite a lot at the moment. So, okay. I'm cautious, but I respect it. I care more about the long term. So, okay, understood. We'll leave that be. Tribal Alloy AK-47. It's a $3 skin. Uh-oh. Over the past few years, when we see a slightly higher priced AK-47, at least $3, they don't usually work out very nicely. They really need to stand out and be unique, or have pay-to-win features. You know, like the optimized AK-47. So, I'm still comfortably fine with that. It might be only slightly in the positive. Leave it until July and August. Look at it then. But this right here, I worry it might end up like Imprisoned Demon AK-47. That did about 14,000 subscribers there, sold for $3. It's not even $1. We even had a collection continuation early this year. Gold Chains AK-47, $3. Well, that's $1.40. Dare I say Hellcore AK-47? You know, that had a very successful collection. Unfortunately, that still went down in price. I wouldn't be surprised that recovers, though. That would be expected. But this right here, unless we see an actual collection being spawned from it, which, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if it probably gets an attempt. Like, I showed this off in the Rust Rotation video. I thought it looked nice. I thought it had potential to build up into something. But will the skin creators be putting out the work soon enough? With all due respect, I think they've got the quality to do so. But you've got to keep an eye out, all right? So that, they submitted that a week ago, if I can recall. Not this past weekend, but the week before. Gets accepted. What next? Has anyone asked? Actually, you know what? That's a good shout. Has anyone asked what's next? Well, I can't read that. I would have reason to believe it's expected, all right? So this weekend, keep an eye out. Thompson, Sap, who knows? But it does look nice and shiny. But I have to point out, rarely do AK-47 skins work out nicely. So we'll just scroll down and look at the history. In fact, look at it. Look now. Only one's in the positive. Learning from the past. Only a few skins a year actually end up in the positive. And the vast majority, they suffer. Will that stand out and be appreciated? Or will it suffer like most? I'm sorry to say, but the more likely outcome is the latter. So we'll see what happens. Naval Camo backpack. Okay. Well, you know what? That's got me thinking. Jacket, tactical gloves. What else, though? I did like the idea of maybe a sheepman door. You could put it on your boats. The door is camouflage. No, but maybe. What about rug? I could turn my whole boat into naval camo. Just put the rug all over it. No one will be able to spot me in the ocean. Right, anyway, so who knows what's going to get made next? But if I can recall, I did ask the skin creators, and they did say a jacket and some tactical gloves eventually. Well, With the success of that, I wouldn't be surprised we'd be seeing that soon enough then. With the arrival of the backpack, I can confirm to you the tier 2 has it's had a bit of a bump. Let's go over to here and take a look. So, tier 2, for some strange reason, it's the neglected middle child. Didn't sell the most, but it did have other skins appear after it. But it's got a lot of listings. It came out during March, the Easter dip, and a lot of people dumped. But eventually we did see the tier 3. But all those dump skins were still there. It's slowly digging itself out of this hole. I do believe it will do better as we go through July and August. That might take a while. Anyway, it did eventually recover. So if I could just show the sales history and whatnot, you can see it was down bad. And it went up a bit. And now it's improving again. Yay. If we are expecting more on the horizon, in fact, maybe some people have already asked, the point I'm trying to get across is I'd assume the backpack will probably bounce up as well. So I think next there'll be tactical gloves and the jacket. There you go. Do you feel confident we'll see that jacket and those tactical gloves being accepted? I'd say at least one. I think at least one of those would be accepted, and I think a lot of people would be very happy. Have we ever had a blue jacket before? I did mention this in my Rust rotation video. Did we ever have a blue backpack before? Yes, Arctic. There you go. And Ultramarine. So, yes, I can confirm. All right. So, $1.49. That is not that pricey. That's very approachable. Will that sell as much as the rest of the skins here? I think it will. I don't think this would be the most highest selling skin, but it does look as if it's going to sell pretty decently. Maybe it ends up around 20,000 subscribers. That'd be fine. You know, considering what we have here and whatnot, I don't think that'd be that bad. So, based on what I'm looking at, with the potential nice things on the horizon, with more potential collection continuations, that does look promising. Are you a Naval Camo enjoyer? Have you been using this? Have you been roaming around with this? Do you like it? Because again, we don't have that many blue collections, do we? I think that'll be appreciated as time goes on. So, okay, cool. Redemption Bow. I should point out, Redemption weapon skins, they're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. I wonder what gets made next. Not sure. Still hoping for that hoodie and pants. I always mention it. But SKS, still holding up nicely. Handmade NMG, still holding up nicely. Double barrel shotgun could be better, but pump shotgun still holding up. L96 still holding up. M39 still holding up. People like it. People appreciate it. Now, notably, they have transparent aim sights. Guess what? This does too, sort of. It has as much transparency as a bow could have, aka, you know when they aim down, if I could just get the right picture, come on, there we are, perfect. That. We've referenced this already with Black Ops bow, Hellcore bow, Eye of Sahara, we even had some Twitch drops with this transparency. But for some strange reason, you take a look at the recent bows, you're holding up all right. You're doing okay. But you, oh boy. But this. That did 36,000 subscribers. That's a lot. Like, as you see here, this only did 9,900. This did 9,500. They're struggling. Well, not you, but you've lost a third of your value. Anyway, why is that in the positive so high? I don't know. You might sit there and say, oh, surely it's because of the clothing and the armor. No. This appeared before that. Ever since it came out, it's just been magically up in value. I don't understand. And now I see someone doing this. Is this a manipulation? I don't know. I don't know. I've questioned it for so long. Like, I remember people making quite the fuss about the transparency it had. Again, compared to all the other bows, the other bow really had that. But there's cheaper and more of like available options, I guess. I'm still confused by it. So I don't understand why this is so valuable, but the other ones aren't. I think there's something fishy going on here. You can offer your opinion. You can comment below if you'd like. So aside from that, yes, we recently had the Hellcore bow. To be honest with you, this is probably holding up because its collection's doing good. So, you know, we've seen like the Thompson and all that, another transparent collection basically. Yeah, no, that's not too far off from going back up to its rustral price. Literally just these amount of listings. It's got a lot of support. That felt justified. It's actually retaining its value, basically. And then Eye of Sahara, I mean, I guess there wasn't enough of a fuss, I guess you could say. This isn't holding up very nicely. But you know what? This is a perfect example of, if we keep seeing more and more and more and more options for transparent aim sights and whatnot, are they even that special anymore? Well, there you go. So that is available. That didn't sell that much. That's not doing too good. However, you don't have a collection. Hellcore does, and that's retaining most of its value. And of course, Redemption, need I say any more? I have reason to believe that bow, I'm not really sure how much you're going to sell, but I do think it will sell more than Hellcore and Eye of Sahara. Even then, I think it might do a pretty good job retaining its value. It's a very nice shiny looking design. I showed it off in the Rust Rotation video. I liked it. I approved. The people watching liked it and approved. I think that might be one of the skins this week that might be interesting enough to keep an eye on. So, yep, I think that's looking like it's going to be a pretty interesting situation. Sales matter, though. So I wonder what the first 24 hours of sales would be. Keep an eye out. Psycho Room. Wait, why is that called Room? And why is it just called... Okay, Psycho Tier 3. Let's go with that. So, brand new collection. But I just thought, if we see Tier 2, if we see Hoodie and Pants, if they're accepted, that will spike them on, spike and price. Doesn't matter. But we did see something... well, let's go ahead and showcase it. Don't you remember when we had these? And these? What happened? I don't know. Skin creators did try for collection continuations. They weren't accepted. Uh-oh. That's starting to go down in price. That's starting to go down in price. It's not looking very good. Anyway, back over to here. That's the worry. If we don't see a collection continuation actually being accepted, well, of course, you know exactly what's going to happen, don't you? Having looked at this, I respect it. Brand new skin creator. He comes out with a pretty cool looking design idea. Looks nice. It's psycho. Anyway, I'm not sure what he's up to next, but I would have reason to believe he's going to probably commit and make Tier 2 and Hoodie and Pants and whatnot. I certainly hope he takes his time, though. Don't rush it. So, if we do manage to see the continuations, well, I've already said it, yes, that will go up in price. That will work out nicely. Do we have anything on the horizon that could, cause any potential problems? Not that I'm aware of, no. So, what do? I don't know. We are anticipating Hellcore. We are anticipating Black Ops. Like, let me point this out. We could have had Hellcore Tier 3. There was a version 2 submitted. Some people brought it up to my attention, blah, blah, blah. Maybe, well, let me remind you, Hellcore Tier 3 version 2 was just a resubmission. There's no changes. Chances are that needs to have some changes. Maybe Facepunch doesn't like it. Skin creators should realise. The Tier 2 is still available, so we'll see what becomes of that. But this right here, it's a brand new collection to look forward to, okay? So starting from now, keep an eye on their workshop. What are they going to make next? And is it going to be accepted? That's all we can say. So, looks fine to me. Obviously, there's no camouflage potential or anything, but yeah, we'll see what becomes of that. Tempered Tactical Gloves. The Tempered collection is a very large collection, which is fully complete. And you might sit there and say, oh, surely with these appearing, things could probably still work out quite all right. I didn't say it was in demand. Well, the pants are apparently, the roadside pants. Well. Okay, they're doing better. What happened here? They didn't used to be that price. Okay, well, focusing. This collection's been around for a while. But the timing of the acceptances with like the Tier 2, like the chest plate. Chest plate appeared 6 years after the face mask. Sold far too much. Look at it now. Oh boy, anyway. It is a complete collection. But I've got to be honest with you, like a couple months ago, it wasn't looking very pretty. This seems weird. I'm not sure why that's happened. Anyway, what could come out after this that could give that a boost? That's the question. Now, of course, if the collection's in demand, if people appreciate it, if people are using it, in theory, well, surely it'll be all right. Can I just quickly show you the roadside gloves? Yeah. 22,000 subscribers. down by 10%. Not exactly changing the world, not exactly down in the dumps, but maybe this is probably the best thing we can learn from. So if I could just go back over to here, look at sales history. Were you always reasonably all right? Well, actually, you're $2.80 here. Interesting. You can see a lot of ups and downs. Well, when it's up, good times. When it's down, bad times. Looks like we're starting to go up. Maybe it's because we're getting closer and closer to the summertime. Ooh. Anyway, so yeah, rose up during January. It actually was doing pretty good. But to my surprise, we're already at that point. Wow, we're already matching up and above here. And yes, it was down quite a fair bit bad. I'm not fully behind the tactical gloves. I don't hate the design. I'm just not really sure if the collection's got enough demand. Like, the weapons have been awesome and whatnot, but the clothing and armor is a bit all over the place. However, sales, they're not that high. Maybe that could be a bit of a saving grace for it. And if the hoodie and pants and the road sign kilt have been bought out, maybe that might work out. Again, with the arrival of that today, did it cause that? I'm curious enough now that I feel the need to go ahead and take a look. This does seem weird, so let's just go ahead and look at the pants. I looked to the right, and that is definitely not matching up to the left. All right, something funny's going on here. Did William use it in the video? Yeah, that doesn't look normal. Yeah, no, something funny's going on here. Something funny, because just a few days ago, this was only around like $2.50 at best. So I do believe some naughty business is going on. Hedge, it was the gloves, right? Probably. It looks as if it was the gloves. Okay. That doesn't look like it's going to retain its value. It was going up. But yeah. Something funny's going on here. Hedge, it was the collection continuation. Alright, okay. Alright, we understand. I don't think that's going to last. As I said, I remembered the actual prices. So, it was so obvious. You've literally just talked about it there. Alright, moving on. But yes, I'm still not sure what gives that the boost. Not sure. Maybe eventually we get the wolf headdress become skinnable, and then we can have the tempered wolf headdress. That'd be cool. Alright, we'll leave it be. Alright, moving on. Heat Seeker Pump Shotgun. $3.49. But you know what? We'll take a look at the previous skins. Well, that was $3. 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 Yep. Times are tough. They've had to add an extra 50 cents. Okay, anyway. The high price might put off a lot of people from trying to invest into it, at least early on. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people jump in, buy as much as they can, with the hopes of instantly selling it for a profit at some point in the near future, which is good. If that doesn't sell that much, and honestly that does appear to be the case, this looks as if this is going to be the lowest selling Heat Seeker skin out of the whole batch. That looks as if that's going to happen. At the current rate of sales, that doesn't look like it's going to even reach 10,000 subscribers. Now, for what I've seen, perfectly fine looking pump shotgun. It's not super visible at night time, but funnily enough, that has a transparent aim sight. What? Yeah, I made a joke. It looks as if he's filed it down. I compared it with the All King pump shotgun. It has a slightly thinner aim sight. Yes. Might have to make a fuss about that in a short video. Anyway, that right there, I think that actually might be a very sneaky investment. Yeah, it's a high price, but let's say at least 7,000 of those sold by next Thursday. The lowest selling skin so far, right, if we weren't to include the pump shotgun, so lowest subscriber, is the AK-47, and it had just over 19,000 subscribers. That got carried, by the way. Anyway, I think I might need to go buy some of those pump shotguns. Not yet, though. Let's keep an eye on the sales. Wait till next Wednesday. We'll, of course, do the abnormal barders, but that is looking promising. If it doesn't sell that much more. Maybe it ends up at like 12,000 subscribers. I'd still be fine with that. So, Heat Seeker Summer, is it the beginning of so much more? What do you reckon? What weapon skins are there left? We can see over here. We've got the bolt action rifle. We've got the double barrel shotgun, the crossbow, the M249. I mean, it's there, Hedge. There's still plenty more. All right, well, fair enough then. Heat Seeker Summer. So, all right, cool. Then we have the 2 skins this week that are not abnormal. Oil King Pump Shotgun. Listen, I don't hate you. You're a very grounded, perfectly fine approach. But I think between these 2 skins, what would be most affected with even more Pump Shotgun skins on the horizon? That one would. It is a collection continuation. Well, there's another AK that got lost in the shuffle. Sorry to say, but yeah. Now, the skin creators, they did try to, build up a collection. And of course, this was one of those skins. We saw a crossbow, we saw a custom SMG, they gave it a shot with a pump shotgun, that was accepted. Cool. But, well, will there be any other weapon skins being accepted afterwards? I'm not hating, I was fully behind it. I like the transparent crossbow. Maybe they could resubmit it. Give it a shot, Axolotl. Give it a shot. And Gurin. So, is this just a one-off? Or will they actually get more skins accepted after this? What weapon would they have to make next? What weapon skin, I should clarify. Don't give up. Keep up the good work. But between these 2, I think I've already made my case. I'm not as confident with this. And, well, as I said, we still have next week and the week after. It's the focused item of the month. I am expecting at least 2 more pump shotguns. You don't have an anime girl on you. You don't have a tiger on you. Sorry. But he's the king. Not the king of the jungle. Or, anyway, yep. Primal Salvaged Axe. So, I'm not sure what to think. I made this point in the Rust Rotation video. When are we going to start seeing Salvaged Axes actually being paired up with ice picks? As a combination, as a duo. Salvage tools. Stone tools, regular tools, salvage tools. I want to see more of the Primal set. I am expecting an ice pick. I had a silly idea with a jackhammer, Lots of string, bits of wood, all wrapped up together. A hamster and a wheel, you could make a jackhammer work. It's doable. Yeah. You could just stone tools as well. That's going to be a bit funny, isn't it? Anyway, I'm not sure if that's a one-off. I would like to see more. But this is basically the exact same thing we said last week when we looked at the Ice Cold Salvaged Axe. And with all due respect, he did produce a ice pick. So what is going to be the first Salvaged Axe to get a sequel? And what is going to be the first Salvage Tools submitted at the same time, accepted at the same time? Well, I guess we're going to wait and see. I can't help but assume when we start seeing the pair of them together, it'll be those skins that work out better. By the way, ice picks, can I just quickly point this out? I know it's the focused item of the month last year, but did you actually keep an eye on the prices? Well, that worked out quite right, didn't it? And apparently, we're going to see a salvaged axe for the Impact Protocol being made fairly soon as well. Oh, okay, fair enough then. Interesting. Maybe people are using this with the ice cold salvaged axe from last week. Anyway, that looks promising then, doesn't it? So, keep an eye on the workshop over the course of this weekend. What does algorithm make next? But also take into consideration, it's not selling that much. Then again, it's only been about 10 hours, so understandable. 11 hours. There you go. So, yeah. Maybe lack of sales could be a great benefit this week. We just got to keep an eye on it, all right? That's all we have to do. Right. Hopefully I don't get distracted like earlier, so when I get the first 24 hours of sales posted on my Twitter, we get a clear insight how things are likely going to line up by next Thursday. So, all right, cool. Let's talk about some other things, and then we'll talk about the conclusion. What I personally think is the best skins for this week. Twitch drops. Did you get all of them? So right now we still have these 5 dropping, at least until May 18. Different time zones, by the way. Look at twitch.facepunch.com just to make sure, when it ends for you. But you've still got plenty of time. 3 days to go. Unfortunately, did you actually make sure you watched the Twitch rival stream to get the handmade NMG? If you didn't, it's too late. They only streamed for 4 hours, and once it's done, it's done. So if you've missed that, I'm sorry to say, but you can't get it anymore. I did put the warnings out. I did make the videos. I'm sorry, but yeah. Now, let me also point this out as well. You should expect Twitch drops, kick drops, at least once a month, every month for the rest of this year. That is to be expected. How can you sit there and say that? Well, it happened last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. There's a pattern there. Take note. So, yeah, that's what you should be expecting. Right, player count. So, player count, it's, how do I say this? I'm under the impression, around the world right now, all the students are focusing and studying, and they've got exams. May isn't looking very amazing at the moment. But it wouldn't surprise me, starting next month, at least in the North American regions, you know. All those kids, all those students, they're going to start being out of school and university, I guess, and whatnot. Yeah, the summertime is going to start happening. And again, I know seasons are different, but let's just refer to June, July, and August as the summertime. During this period of time, we should be expecting better player counts. During this period of time, we should be expecting better prices for skins because more people are playing. Not too hard to comprehend. So, okay. But skin prices are already going up at the moment regardless. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Have you seen revolvers? Oh boy, let me quickly go ahead and show you revolvers. Do we have to, Hedge? Yes, you do. Look at them. They are ridiculous. Old Pirate Revolver, $5. Olympus Revolver, it has peaked above its previous peak. Remember when this appeared and it caused problems for this? Doesn't matter anymore. That's gone back up to where it was and above and beyond. This was pushing up to $10. These recent revolvers are doing good. Even Black Ops Revolver, you're doing okay. These guys are doing all right as well. Like, oh wow. And it's not really just these. It's just a lot of skins in general. I mean, didn't we just talk about another skin earlier? The tempered skin, you know? Whilst a lot of them have spiked today because that appeared, a lot of them are going up regardless. I did say, when times are good and when times are bad, it's pretty obvious. Up, down. Yeah. A lot of skins are rising up in price right now. And I might have to make a video about that. It's like a pre-summer spike, but it gets me a little bit worried. Do you remember last year? For some strange reason, we had a dip during June 2025, and I still don't know why that happened. I must have said this several times already over the past few weeks and whatnot, but I want to make sure you're fully well aware, even when we're expecting very nice things to happen, you can still be surprised. Now, just to remind you, after June last year, July and August were great, like really good. Like the prices were peaking and everything, okay? So, yeah, we suffered for a bit, but then exactly like March. We knew we were going to have an Easter dip, but it was only March time. Like this past April, I only saw improvement. Not insane improvement, but yeah. So only March was the Easter dip. It just surprises me we didn't have that long of a dip. That's what I'm just trying to get across. We could have another one. Like, if things are too good to be true or something, if it's too good, maybe it won't hold up, maybe it won't last. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I need to make a video. I'll put out a proper warning. You get the idea. Cool. Right then, aside from that, what else do we need to address? Well, I mean, we've already talked about, like, the appearance of this and all that. But yeah, look at that. Olympus Revolver. It's mocking me. I still have like 100 of them if I can recall. But yes. Just as a nice example, let me remind you, it was doing good, and then of course competition appeared. Well, now it doesn't matter. Now it's in its stride. Alright then. Maybe we could go ahead and look at the Whitetail skins and whatnot. I'll save it for a specific video, alright? Cool. But yeah, Heatseeker Revolvers right there. Heatseeker collection. Alright, moving on. So aside from that, is there anything else that we want to address? Well, of course, with the recent submissions, I'd like to point out we only had one early pick this week, okay? So the majority of skins were from the previous week, so not this past weekend, but the week before that. Typical picks. What I'm trying to get across is, in the most recent batch of Ruskin submissions, chances are next Rustor, so next week, look at all the skins here. These are the most likely candidates to be accepted, all right? I'd expect at least 5. So take a look, get a good look, all of that. I'm expecting the majority of skins next week to be accepted from here. Only Heatseeker Pump Shotgun was the one that was accepted. That's why I was making a bit of a fuss earlier about Hellcore Tier 2. Maybe that gets accepted. Or, I don't know, Baby Hippo Tier 3. Sure. All right, anyway. So, yeah. Consider watching the Rust Workshop skin checks for May 12, 2026 in my Rust rotation. I made a little bit of a mistake at the very end of the video. What I'm saying is keep an eye on the workshop over the course of this weekend as well. So the upcoming skins that we're about to see. And keep an eye out for the next video, which will be May 19. But I accidentally said May 12 twice in the Rust rotation video. Look at my face when I realised the mistake. I was like, oh. All right, cool. So it's up to you if you want to go ahead and watch the Rust rotation video. All right, I think we're done then. Let's go ahead and do the conclusion. So after all that yapping, and yes, I was quite thorough, so much lovely yapping. Looking at all these skins, what I personally think is looking promising, I have to talk about Heatseeker Pump Shotgun. Yeah, it's a high price. Yeah, that's also led to it not selling that much. And it looks to be on course to be the lowest selling skin out of the whole collection. That collection, I do believe, will carry it. Now, you might bring up the SKS. With all due respect, that sold an absurd amount. That needs a good summer. I expect it to have a good summer. Let it take its time. But you, Pump Shotgun, you're selling next to nothing. I'm giving a very rough estimate, and I'm expecting that to probably not even reach 10,000 subscribers by next Thursday. Maybe it does. Maybe it only slightly is higher than 10,000. Okay, that's still low. That'll still make it the lowest selling Heatseeker skin of the batch. And I'm not sure if this is the last Heatseeker skin for this year. I think we might be having another Heatseeker summer. So keep an eye out. There might be more on the horizon. But yes, lack of sales, very in-demand collection, and a transparent aim sight. What? Yeah, I'm not joking. I need to make a short video highlighting that. Okay, understood. So, okay. That is the skin I'm thinking might be the best investment of the week. But abnormal barders first. If people are scared by the high price, all right, fair enough then. But I want to do barders first. Then I feel more confident if I actually want to jump in and buy some. I think I'll be buying some regardless, but it depends how much I'll be buying. That's what, yeah, okay, cool. So, yeah, you get the idea. Lovely. The next skin I want to talk about then, I have to talk about the Redemption Bow. Now, I'm still puzzled with the previous transparent bows. I've already had a big discussion in regards to the notable Black Ops bow. For some reason, it's doing very, very, very good. And I just don't understand why. Because the transparency this has is also on the Hellcore bow and the Eye of Sahara bow. Hellcore bow's got a collection behind it. It's holding up quite nicely. And with that, I just can't help but assume this will hold up quite nicely. Because this also has a collection that's doing very nicely. Yes. Very nicely. Lots of Redemption weapon skins have been going up in price ever so nicely as of recent. Lots of skins in general have been going up very nicely as of recent. So, if you're not selling that much, if your whole collection's doing good, notably the weapon skins, I think I have to look at that with some positive eyes. Abnormal barders first, of course. Yes. But even then, I'm looking at it with positivity. It's a very nice and shiny looking red, cranberry red bow, and I think a lot of people will be appreciating it. So, all right, I could see a pretty interesting future ahead of it. Keep an eye on it, right? As much as I'm tempted to talk about the Part Electric Furnace, I only see that as a nicer long-term investment. So maybe not this year, but as time goes on, I could imagine they'll do very nicely eventually. But with the low price, with the collection building up even more and more, with the expectation of a jacket and some tactical gloves on the horizon, I think the Naval Camo backpack's in a very good spot. Not selling ridiculously, and yet still, it could sell a fair bit more, and it would still line up perfectly with the other skins in its collection. I think this is going to have an interesting summer, and I think that'll be part of it. So, yes, personally speaking, I think the pump shotgun, the bow, and the backpack are probably the interesting things to take a look at. But earlier on, at first glance, I did say, initially, I'm just not really that impressed in terms of something that is very clear to me. But having looked at it, having properly discussed and take a look to see what have the skin creators said and whatnot, I do feel confident with them now. So, comment below, offer your own opinion, but those are the ones I'm considering the most. And that's that. So once again, I will repeat, I will say again, keep an eye on the Rust Workshop. Like, look at that. Oh, what? Is that another collection continuation? Yeah, that's a nice looking skin, isn't it? So keep an eye on the Rust Workshop this weekend. You don't have to only look yourself here. I mean, you can use micro522.com, which, by the way, as you'll notice, we saw a lot of interesting skins over the past week. As I said, the skins you see here are more likely the skins you're going to see being accepted with the next Rustor, right? And let me tell you, lots of crypt-themed skins, which surprisingly weren't accepted today. Maybe Face Punch doesn't feel the need to accept crypt-themed skins. Who knows? And just to also point out, here's the data for the accepted skins. Yeah. Some of those skins did not have that many votes. People keep asking, do votes matter whether a skin gets accepted? No. Only Face Punch. It's only up to Face Punch. So, yeah, that's it. Sorry. You can see it, look. Only 13 upvotes and only 7 downvotes for the All King Pump Shotgun. It's their decision and that's that. So as much as some people might try and, I don't know, scheme to get their skin to get lots of upvotes and whatnot, at the end of the day, it's up to Face Punch. So, yeah, there you go. That's it. That's everything. So, thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you have a lovely weekend. And let's see if we do walk away with some sweet, delicious profit. Best of luck. Catch you later. Say goodbye. Heat Seeker Pumper. Heat Seeker Summer sounds a little bit better. Whatever.